Well, a very special guest, Terence Bud Crawford. Welcome to a ringside seat with Tassie, my friend.
Hey, what's going on, bro?
No, it's good, bro. It's been a long time in the making. We spoke about you coming to Australia some time ago in Hamburg, Germany. Guten Tag.
Yeah.
and then finally we made it happen, man. So first part of Australia we've just done Gold Coast and the Brisbane, and now day 3 of the Terence Bud Crawford tour. We're in Melbourne. So how's it been so far?
It's been great. Everybody been treating me with the utmost hospitality. Um, I haven't had nothing but good times and good memories so far.
You haven't had that Vegemite yet.
What?
You haven't tasted the Vegemite.
Nah.
And it's been good, man. You've been seeing some koala bears, seeing my little Tassie devil running around doing laps,
Yeah.
seeing some crocodile that ate a toner.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
It's crazy. But look, I want to go back to where it all started, bud. I mean, there's always a story behind everything. You know, you're pound for pound the number one boxer in the world. But tell me how it started. Tell me how you got into boxing and growing up in Omaha, Nebraska.
I got started at the age of 7. The owner behind my grandma's house, he owned the gym. See me in the neighborhood, asked me if I was interested in boxing, and at the time I told him I couldn't talk to strangers, so I proceeded to go home and tell my mom some man in the van was trying to, get me to box, and he come knocking on my door, and everybody's greeting him, and I'm like, this the guy I'm telling y'all about. And at the time, my mom, my grandma, and my aunts and everybody at the house was like, oh, that's Carl. Your dad and your uncle used to box for him. So, he's a good person. So at the time, they asked me if I wanted to box, and I told them I'd try it out. And that's how I got started.
Awesome. And how old was you when you had your first amateur fight?
I was 8.
Yep. You win that one?
No, I lost.
No.
Yeah. I lost my first 2 fights.
Wow. And how many did you have all up in the amateurs?
I had around 60 something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes probably not a lot for some fighters, as you know, like the Mark Brelands and some of these guys have had 100, 200 fights, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you had a lot of success, though. We were talking yesterday. You beat some good names. You beat like Mikey Garcia. I think did you say you fought Danny Garcia twice?
Fought Danny Garcia twice. He won the first one. I won the second.
Yeah. And did you fight like was it like you? How's it work? You got your box offs and all that stuff for the Triumph Olympics, like USA titles, etc.
Yeah. We got the qualifiers, and then we got the box offs, and then we got the trials.
What year, if you did make the Olympics, would have been 2008?
2008.
Beijing. Yeah. Who went that year in your division?
Saddam Ali.
Oh, I remember him. Yeah, he beat McCall Cotto for the world title.
Yeah, I fought him the first day.
Yep.
I got robbed.
Really?
I was winning every round, and
yep.
So happened he got all these points in the last round, which he didn't even hit me close to half of what they said he did. So it was a lot of politics back there against me.
Yep. Did you turn professional straight after that?
Yeah.
Yep. And was you signed straight away to Top Rank? Did they sign you out of the amateurs, or was that a bit later?
No. I got signed with Top Rank like my 11th or 13th fight.
Yep.
I was signed with this promotional company called TKO Boxing.
I've heard of them, I think. Yeah. And where did you have your pro debut, in Omaha?
No, I had my pro debut in Denver, Colorado.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And that was at 130?
135.
Oh, you started at 135. Yeah. And then obviously there's that story with where you go and spar Tim Bradley. What age was you when that sort of happened?
I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
I'm probably, 24?
Yeah. Was you signed a Top Rank then?
I can't remember if I was or not.
Through Cameron Duncan?
I was with Cameron Duncan.
Cameron, yeah.
I don't think I was with Top Rank at the time.
So you sparred Tim Bradley. He got a shock how great you were, and then he tried to sign you, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He told Cameron Duncan, he'll buy me out my contract.
Yeah.
Cameron was just like, nah.
I believe that you didn't have to have Tim Bradley tell you how good you was, but was it a bit of a confidence thing to have a great champion like that?
Yeah, for sure. You having this confidence in yourself and you believing in your skills and your ability, and everybody around you is telling you how good you is, but you don't get the opportunity to show the world how talented you is. Um, it's a definitely a great feeling for you to be in a ring with a two division world champion, and you holding your own, and this individual is praising you, and that's just extra motivation and letting you know where you stand at as a fighter.
100%.
Yeah.
The breakout fight, I believe, was you filled in. It was a late, I think, 2 weeks out. British Pressco, his opponent pulled out. He was a big puncher, known for knocking out Amir Khan. You took the fight on 2 weeks' notice, I believe.
Yeah.
And that was your pretty much your coming out party, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So that was the first time that I was showcased it on any televised network, and the world got to see me that night, and I put on a hell of a performance, and that started my campaign for becoming champion of the world.
When you got the offer, did you take no time to think about it? It's like, yep.
No, I accepted it right out the gate, and it was crazy because, I'm calling my coaches and everybody, and I'm asking them what they think, and they like, I think you can beat him. I'm like, good, because I accepted the fight already. And they like, what? And I'm like, yeah. And then they're like, all right, well, let's go then. Let's go. So, they had the confidence in me because I had the confidence in myself.
Yeah.
So that made things run a little bit smoother.
I remember watching that because it was on the Brandon Reyes undercard.
Yeah.
Co-main? Yeah, that's right. So let's talk about you finally getting your first world title shot. I believe you went over and fought Ricky Burns for the 135 title. Was it Wales or Scotland?
Scotland,
that's right, yeah. So you wasn't privileged at getting a fight at home like a lot of American guys. You had to go on the road, which is just about who you are, mate. Like, you believe in your skills. And tell me about the preparation. Tell me about the mindset going into your first world title fight.
Well, my mindset was, win at all costs. I didn't leave the hotel unless I went to the gym or I had to do some media work. And at that time, I didn't want to talk to nobody because I was just isolated in my room because I was just telling myself I didn't come this far to leave empty-handed. So every day I work out and I just sit in my room quiet, and my sisters and a couple of people that came and traveled all the way to Scotland with me, they going to see the castles, they going to see the city and everything, and I'm just in a room and just in a whole other world. And I don't think I never, got to that level, before a fight ever again after that.
Wow.
I knew I was going in hostile territory. I knew from his previous fight that I had to win decisively and, put a beating on him.
Yeah.
To where they wouldn't ride me like they did Ray Beltran.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a great feeling after I was successful.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you wasn't there for no holiday, mate. You were there for a purpose, and it's your destiny. Yeah. After that, run me through a few of your defenses after that, at 135.
Well, after my defense, I came back and I fought Gamboa. That was
How soon after did it go? So I remember
that was my first.
Oh, that was huge. Yeah, Gamboa. Yeah.
It was like, you know, you the champion now, and now you got to fight Gamboa. You know, and he was one of the top fighters in the world.
He was. I really liked him. Yeah.
You know, me personally, I was like, damn, you know what I mean? Like this my homecoming fight. But another part of me was like, oh, they trying to get you beat. You know, they don't believe in you. So, you know, you got to make an example out of them, you know, and show them that, you know, you belong here. So I accepted the fight. I beat him, and then it was only right for me to give Ray Beltran another shot.
Yes.
He got robbed when he went over there.
Yeah.
So before I moved up, I was like, all right, I don't want to fight, you know, nobody but Beltran, because, you know, I felt, you know, he was the real champion.
Yeah, of course.
When I fight. So once I beat Beltran, then I moved up.
Yeah. Yeah, Gamboa fight, I remember it because, I mean, I knew him from from the Olympics and the Cuban system, and he was one of the ones I really, like you said, though, he was one of the ones I was really talking about. And, yeah, I mean, you beat him, and it was a great fight, but what round did you stop him?
The ninth.
The ninth, yeah. Yeah, I remember it.
We had the same record.
Yeah.
Same wins, same knockouts, same everything. It was crazy.
Did he give you any worries at all, like, during the...
Earlier in the fight, you know, he was a bit tricky, but, you know, I had to figure him out and stay focused and stay, you know, on the course. Yeah. And I got the job now. Yeah.
And Beltran was another good victory because, like you said, like, you know, a good fighter, like, and seasoned and tough, and he was definitely one of the top guys at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we went up to 140. Who was your first fight at 140?
My first fight at 140 was Thomas Delorme.
That's right. Yeah. Yep.
Thomas Delorme, he just moved back down from 147 because he went up to 147 and he got knocked out by Abregu.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, and he was a promise. What is he? Dominican. He was a promising Dominican fighter, and everybody was expecting him to be the next world champion. And he had fought Hank Lundy for a title of eliminator.
Hank.
And that's why me and him end up fighting for the vacant title.
Is Hank from Philly?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hank Lundy. Yeah. And then did you go straight into unification or?
No. I fought Derry John.
Oh yeah.
I fought Derry John. And that was supposed to be my coming out party to potentially fighting Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah.
So that was the fight where they said if you look good, then you get a shot at Manny Pacquiao at 140. And I stopped him.
Yep.
And Manny Pacquiao was nowhere to be.
He looked too good.
Yeah. Freddie Roach knew how good I was because, you know, not only did I fight a couple of fighters that he trained, but, you know, Derry Jean was one of Manny Pacquiao's sparring partners as well.
Yeah.
And Victor Postal.
Yeah, then Victor Postal. Yeah, that's right, yeah. And that was for the...
and Ray Beltran.
Yeah, that's right. I knew Beltran was there too. Run me through the Victor Postal fight. That was obviously, he was a very good fighter, the European style, Ukrainian.
That was a fight where, you know, a lot of people was doubting me and saying that, you know, Lucas Matisse was the boogeyman of the division and Victor Postal stopped him. Yep. You know, so they were saying like, oh, well, Danny Garcia didn't want to fight Victor Postal, so he gave him step aside money and moved up in the weight class. So he's been avoided for a long time. Yeah. And a lot of people were saying that, oh, he's too tall, too long, and too strong, and punch too hard, and just a whole bunch of stuff. And once I beat him, they all switched up their tone and was saying like, oh, well, he's a one-dimensional fighter, he's a robot, and this and that, and this. And I was just like, all right, whatever.
So you feel that they weren't giving you your flowers back then?
Yeah, no, I don't think, you know what I mean, they give me my flowers now. You know, I think it's always, you know, them looking at how the fighters are once I fight them, you know, and then, you know, they compare who I fought to who they are right now.
Yeah.
You know, not who they was when I fought them at the
Yeah.
time. But it's life, it's boxing. I just keep my head, you know what I mean, high and keep doing what I'm supposed to do. And that's when
Just keep proving people wrong, but that's
Yeah.
that's it, man. And so you were undisputed at 140.
hmm
How did that feel to have all the belts?
Oh, it felt great. It felt great. I was, you know, excited. That was something that I wanted to accomplish, being that it haven't been done in a long time, and it's only been done twice in the belt era.
Yeah.
So, you know, I set my sights on becoming undisputed.
Hmm.
You know, I was the first one to do it, and then after I did it, now everybody else was,
Yeah.
you know, following suit.
Yeah.
So it was a great feeling at the time, you know, to be called the only undisputed champion in the world at the time, and yeah.
100%. And then you go up to 147 and you take on an Australian, Jeff
Mhm.
Horn, after he upset Manny Pacquiao, one of the biggest upsets in history. Um, and then yes, you title shot at was that the WBO?
Yeah.
Yeah, WBO. Run me through that one. I know that David Horn was known as quite a big guy for the weight, and again, you've pretty much been doubted again
Well,
about.
that was a fight where, you know, I was chasing Manny Pacquiao still.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I thought Manny Pacquiao would win that fight, and
from
I was already the mandatory.
yeah,
So that was my way of trapping him, you know, by moving up in weight and going for the WBO title instead of any other title.
Mm.
You know, Manny Pacquiao had the biggest name in the division at the time,
of course.
and he's a Hall of Famer. So I wanted to fight the best name out there that can drive my name to stardom. Um,
Was you upset when like he lost? It sort of
it's boxing,
spoiled the party
you
a
know.
bit.
It's
Yeah.
boxing. He definitely spoiled the party, but you know, given that he was undefeated, he was big, he was strong.
Mm.
The way that he was manhandling Manny Pacquiao at times, it was a good opportunity for me because, you know, for me to showcase what I did to him and what he did to Manny Pacquiao,
Mm.
that just shows, you know, the caliber of fighter that I am. You know, that he couldn't do the things that he did to Manny Pacquiao to me. He couldn't roughhouse me. He couldn't bully me. You know, so that was a good feeling for me to show the world, like, listen, I might be skinny, but I'm not weak. I'm not small at all. So that was a good showcase at 147 as well.
Do you think your opponents, get surprised how strong you actually are? Because we spoke about it recently. You got that wrestling background, and you talk about having a foundation under you. And do you think a lot of opponents get surprised inside?
I think so. You know, I think once they tangle up with me or they grab me or they try to push me and bully me and, you know, they can't, I think they get a rude awakening like, damn, you know what I mean? I thought I was just gonna do him like I do everybody else, but he's not going.
Mm.
So I think, you know, it's a it's a great thing that I pose.
At 147, obviously, I think at the time, I personally think a lot of guys were dodging you. The other belt holders, and just correct me if I was wrong. Obviously, we know Spence had a title. Thurman have a title at that time as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously the guys are in that division. It was obviously Porter, Garcia, Danny Garcia, Thurman, and Spence, and a lot of them guys, they weren't in that hurry to fight you. Is that correct?
That's right. None of them was really, in a hurry to fight me. When I came up in the division, I called out Q Thurman right off the bat. You know, um, None of those guys wanted to fight me. So I had to just wait my time and be patient and wait on my opportunity to come. And then when it came, I seized the moment.
Yeah. And obviously a few fights you had to take, obviously, until you got there. So who else did you? I know when obviously Porter was later. But who else did you fight after Horn? Straight after.
I fought Benavidez.
That's right, yeah, and that was in Omaha,
Yeah.
Nebraska. That was a homecoming, yeah. Good fight.
Yeah.
Bit of a trash talker, and it was a bit of hostility at the.
Knocked him out in the 12th round.
Yeah, yeah,
Benavidez was tough.
yeah,
And he came to fight.
yeah. 100%, yeah. I mean, they're a fighting family. His brother's one of the best there is right now, and then there was a bit of hostility too. Like was it the face-off or the weigh-in? There was a bit of altercation there.
Yeah, man, we was going at it for some time.
And how did it feel to get that great win? Like in your
I felt
hometown?
good. It felt good given the circumstances.
Yeah,
That me and him had at the time, and the dislike of each other
Yeah.
and the beef, and for me to win in that fashion, it was a sweet moment.
and then we had a few other. Like there was obviously Amir Khan, Kell Brook. Run me through a couple of them. I mean, two of England's greatest fighters. Amir Khan's fought them all. So was Kell Brook. Did you fight? Was it Amir first and then Kell, or was it? Yeah. So you did you expect the Amir Khan fight to sort of happen so easy for you?
I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah,
I knew Amir was fast. I knew he jump in and jump out. But another thing I knew that, his punch wasn't, too resistant. He wasn't punch resistant.
yeah,
So you seen him being dropped before plenty of times, but you seen him get up, so you can't never question Amir Khan's heart.
No, of course not.
So in my mind, I was just always saying that I just gotta catch him. You know what I mean? I just gotta touch him, and just catch him, and then I'm gonna be in good company.
Yeah,
And I dropped him in the first round.
yeah, that's what I remember. And then obviously Kell Brook fight. Was the Kell Brook fight was that the one during COVID?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he always starts well. He started well with Golovkin. He started okay as well. Like with you, like he was early, he was seen to be okay. What round you caught him? Was it the third round?
It was the fourth round.
Fourth round.
He was tricky. He was good. And he had good distance. He had great range. And he was making me come up short a lot, and I just had to figure him out and adjust to his style. And, pick up the pace a little bit.
Yeah. Was there any time you were getting frustrated there, like having to sort of wait, like no one? I mean, by that time, Spencer's pretty much got all three belts, and that fight's just not happening.
Yeah, I've been, in a situation where I was frustrated a lot in that situation. Given that I was, calling for the fight and everybody was saying that I was ducking them and that I should have signed with PBC, and I'm only trying to fight him because he had a car accident, so I had to hear so many negative comments on why I wanted to fight him, and he's big fish, and he's the A side, and he's this and he's that, and I just had to hear all that for 5 years, really.
Yeah.
So it was a bit frustrating because the people that's on the outside looking in, they didn't have an idea what was really going on, but they was just, making up stuff, and the media and other people that believed them was just going with it.
Yeah.
So once we got the fight over with, it was just like a sign of relief.
And before we go into that fight, obviously, it was a fight that you didn't really want to happen because you were friends, Sean Porter, and I think you said to me that he sort of called you up and wanted to make the fight, and I guess with not a lot of the Spence fight not sort of coming at that time to fruition, he said, "Okay, let's get it on," and you finish up fighting Showtime Sean Porter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sean was, you know, what I mean, a fight that I didn't want at the time because I was in negotiations with Pacquiao. One of the times he called me, and another time I was, focusing on a different fight. And the next time he called, I was like, "Hey, man, you know, you just fought, you know, Spence not too long ago. Now you calling me out because before Spence, he never asked me to fight him
Yeah.
in anything.
Yeah.
When he was champion, he never did. So listening to the media and the media uh, putting out there, oh, we want to see Crawford and Porter fight. We want to see how Crawford do with him since Porter almost beat Spence. So it was like they just trying to gauge me, and I'm somewhat happy that it happened the way it did right now, when looking back at it. But that was something that didn't need to happen at the time, but we both got paid for it, and that's what we in this sport for.
Yeah, and you put the exclamation point on it, like by devastating to win. Like, I mean, was the advice saying that you were down? Like, I mean, you were up there, wasn't you? Wasn't down.
Yeah, I was up.
What do you think that was need to happen like that?
I don't know. I just think they see me coasting, and you got the commentators. They just saying things that basing their own opinion on the fight.
Yeah.
And people listen to the commentators, and the commentators is saying it's close and things like that, and I'm getting word, hey, you down and this and that and this. I'm like, I'm down. Like how? Like I'm not even getting hit. Like I know I'm in control of this fight, and at that time I just had to put my pedal to the metal a little bit and step to him.
Go out there, and that's a good thing about you. I mean, you can switch it up and just go straight out there and and get it over and done with. So I mean, so finally, after all the talk and, as I said, going through managers and all that, finally, you and Errol talk face to face or on the phone and work out the deal.
Yeah. We was definitely on the phone and we was trying to figure it out. But at the time, I started talking to Al and trying to get the fight done, and he just, threw me a deal that I wasn't gonna take.
Yeah.
I knew I was worth more, and I just couldn't sell myself short or cut myself dry.
Yeah.
So they thought I didn't have any options and things like that. So I just, I said, hey, listen, y'all don't want to, give me the numbers that I'm asking for, then cool. I just left and went to go fight Avenesian.
That's right.
Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah.
And once that fight was over, he still hadn't got anybody, lined up or anything. So we would have just been sitting there.
Yeah.
So me fighting played a big factor into how we got that fight made, because I showed that I was wasn't gonna wait on them, and I had options, I had money behind me, and so forth. So we get the fight done, and the rest is history.
Yeah. So they called him the big fish, hence why you come out with the net.
Yeah.
You caught that big fish, and look, it was one of the most anticipated fights in history. I mean, I had my popcorn ready. It was Sunday here, because Saturday night in America, and I was pumped. You know what I mean? Because I respect both you guys. I mean, obviously, before I even got to know you, Bud, I always was a Bud Crawford fan. I just like your style, I tell everyone, that you got that Kobe Bryant, you got the Mamba mentality, and the greatest switch hitter since Marvin Hagler, and but like it was on paper, it was two great champions, undefeated, all the belts, pound for pound on the line. You know, it was just everything. And I've never seen a 50-50 fight ever be so one-sided. I mean, you really had his number. And tell me, like, you know, the focus and how the mentality going into that, and on the biggest night of your life, really.
Well, that's a fight that I've been wanting for 5 years. You know, it was long overdue. And, you know, when you believe in yourself and when you got something to prove and, you know, you got all these doubters doubting you, you just go into a place that you never been before and you just, you know, try to isolate your mind and your thoughts to, you know, just win. Everything that I thought about was just win at all costs. You know, can't lose this fight, won't lose this fight. So that's the mindset that I carry the whole training camp, the whole press conference, the whole everything,
Yeah.
fight, everything. I just want him to know that I was gonna be in charge and I wasn't backing down to him or anything.
What I loved about was just the respect level at the weigh-in, at the press conference. You're both. I'm not into the trash talk, and I'm not into the UFC stuff and fighters saying about family members and all that stuff. Two great champions were so respectful, and I loved it at the end after the weigh-in, the last face-off. He's both sort of there. I think he shook hands, and I think he said, "We did it," or "We done," something like that. And I just was, I thought, this is what it's about, man.
Yeah.
Like, isn't it? Like, really, it's what boxing's about. Yeah, like, and I love that. And how did it feel to be on the equivalent? Because I put that fight and I'd done a post. I remember I said this. I told everyone, this is Ray Leonard, Thomas Hearns at 147. This is De La Hoya at Trinidad at 147. This is Whitaker Chavez. This is the fight of this generation. Crawford Spence. How did it feel to be on that level, like with them? It meaning as much as then, like, this was the super fight of this era.
It felt good. You know, it lets me know that I was meant to be on that level.
You're doing something right.
You know, I was supposed to been, you know, there a long time ago. I just felt like my career was stagnant.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't have the best promotion behind me.
Yeah.
I felt as if, you know, a lot of things could have been done better with my career.
Yeah.
I felt like I could have done things better in my career, but everything happened for a reason. The right time was the right time, and you know, I don't wish I could change anything because that's my story.
Yeah, of course.
You know, when you look back at it, you know the things that I overcame, and you know the places that I came from is gonna lead me into where I am today. You know, I'm passionate about my craft and my sport, and I'm gonna be remembered for a long time.
100%. I mean, but I remember that fight though. I mean, after the first knockdown, I remember Spence coming back throwing a big left hand bomb straight away. Like, you know, he was, you know, look, don't say so philosophical, but he was trying. He was trying to somehow change the tide of that fight, and he let some big shots go. And I remember he buzzed you with a big overhand left, and he took it straight away and come back like it was. There was nothing to stop you that night. I mean, you know, Spence was there, but nothing was stopping Bud.
Yeah, and it's crazy because you hear a lot of people say, "Oh, what an accident!"
I don't want to hear that. That's what I'm saying.
I say, man, listen,
He hit you with a bomb. I think he was there.
it ain't just that he hit me with a bomb. Like that dude, you know, kept getting up. So he was in the best shape of his life. You know, he was working. You know, he was working like, you know, when you see him fight, he didn't fight no different. You can see a change in his style. You know, you see a dominance from me because the style that I pose,
Yeah,
it just matched up with him. You know, I don't think any other regular person could have did what I did to him at the time. Um, Styles just make fights, and that was just my time and my moment that night.
100%. You mentioned about your first undisputed, so now you're a two-time undisputed, 2 divisions, like one of only I think 3 men currently, Usyk and Inoue, but you were the first, I believe, and unbelievable. You know, so 2-time undisputed. There was talks of a rematch, etc., but that didn't come to fruition. I don't think there was a point. Myself personally, I think that nothing was going to change in that case. You go up to 154 and you take on one of the main guys, Madrimov. Great amateur career, won a world title early in his career, and the first Riyadh season by Your Excellency Turki Al-Sheh in America, and he was the main man. Yeah,
he was ranked number 1 in the division.
Yep.
You know, initially I tried to get the Tim Tszyu fight.
Yeah.
It would have been a bigger fight.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah,
given the name, and you know he undefeated, and beat some marquee names in the division. He chose to go the Fundora route, so I had to go a different route, and we got the Israel fight, and you know, that's how we became a 4-weight world champion.
Yeah, I mean, that was an interesting fight. I mean, like we said yesterday, there was a lot of feinting. He was doing three feints. Like, he's a very good fighter. I have full respect to him. But you really closed the show with that and showed the level that you're at. And there we go again. So we're champion on 4 divisions now, bud.
Yeah. Looking to be 5.
Looking to be 5. So when we met in Hamburg, Germany, I mean, we did briefly meet at Haney Loma, but I don't expect to remember you there. But we spent some time together in Hamburg and become friends and hanged out with our Mark. Shout out to our man, Mark Habibi, Fight Book, one of the greatest people I know. And we connected, and you said, I want Canelo. That's all I want. And Turkey's going to make it happen for me. And then finally, it happens, gets announced, Recently, we all seen it. After his win against Skull, you hop in there, and the date's set for September 12th. Now, Canelo has been one of the best fighters of recent eras. Take nothing away from the guy. He's been Mayweather, Cotto, Golovkin 3 times, fought them all. And he's a super middleweight. He's undisputed champion. Now, everyone's just talking about this weight going up and all this stuff. Really, it's 3 divisions, not 2. Like you said, you only had the one fight at 154. How much do you think? I mean, you definitely prove everyone wrong, but how much do you think people just don't really know what you're made out of to doubt you again? I mean, I know it's it's an uphill battle now because he's Canelo, but mate, he's Canelo, but he's fighting Bud. He's got to prepare for you.
That's how I feel. It's going to be a tough challenge on both sides. He's going to have some challenges. I'm going to have some challenges. But that's what great fights is about. Who overcome them challenges and who capitalize on the other fighter mistakes and who got the best game plan, who can adapt. So I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be prepared, and I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, look, as you said, like you were, you didn't get the Pacquiaos and some of them names, which you deserved. You got Spence, but this is the big one. This is Canelo, and this is, the biggest fight of probably the century. It's up there with all the big fights, and I'm not just saying it, bud. No, I know you're going to do it, bro. Styles make fights. No, it's your destiny. It's your legacy to become 3-time undisputed, and in 4 different weight classes, and your 5th weight class as well.
Yeah,
you're joining that club as well.
Definitely.
So you're joining some clubs. Before we finish, you know how much I love the history of the old fighters. Like, look, I know I've already heard it before, but for the viewers, looking up to early in your career, like the couple of fighters that you really liked was Roy Jones and Floyd Mayweather, correct?
Yeah, Roy Jones, Floyd.
Yeah. I mean, you can't get much better than them two.
Nah, not at all.
What was about? Tell me about each one. So starting with Roy, what was it that really?
His athleticism.
Yeah.
You know, his speed, his power, his punch placement, his IQ, the way that he went about boxing. He's a hooper. I like to play basketball. He fish. I like to fish. You know, just his lifestyle. He like dogs. I like dogs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, me and him had so much in common. You know, even still to this day, I'll be like, dang, you know, I mess with that stuff too. Floyd, Floyd is Floyd. You know, I remember running home after the gym, you know, like Floyd about to come on. Floyd about to come on. We got to watch HBO. We got to turn to HBO. And just, you know, everything about him, his defense, his offense. You know, at the time he was a shark. You know, he was a seek and destroy before.
Oh, pretty boy.
Yeah,
Oh, the guy that beat rallies and that. So, unbelievable.
It was just like, man, dude, we gotta watch this dude. Like, you know, just studying him and just trying to take what I can from him and put it in my arsenal.
Yeah.
You know, that was a guy that I had to watch every fight.
Yeah, yeah. I love how you have so much respect for Floyd, bud, because a lot of fighters from your generation, like this and that, and they all, you know, but I know you speak, because like he has paved the way for a lot of people, not just in the boxing, but he showed a lot of the guys the business concept. You know, and you went through the same thing. He got out of top rank.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't getting brought along. Like, he was in the De La Hoya shadow, and I mean, they're known to promote a lot of Hispanic fighters and that. He went and done his own thing, and look what he done. He showed everyone that you can be your own boss, and that's exactly what you've done.
Yeah, for sure.
And Andre Ward as well, who we both admire. You're good friends with him, and of many ones. I love Andre. So, gee, shout out if he ever gets to watch this. But yeah, and so Floyd definitely, you know, he's been not just as a fighter, but you know, the business part of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. A few of the modern day fighters, like I know how close you are with Shakur.
Yeah,
I love Shakur too. I think he's just unbelievable. I've watched him ever since he was an amateur.
Brother.
He's your little brother, man, and I think when you finally hang the gloves up, he'll be the pound for pound number one. I really believe. I said it for ages. When I met him, I said, "Your next Pernell Whitaker." Yeah. I love his style, his patience, his boxing ability, his IQ, his ring generalship. It's amazing. How much does it, your bond, your friendship, and that means to each other?
Oh, it means a lot. You know what I mean? To me, I know it means a lot to him.
Yeah.
Because, you know, not only is it just me and him, it's his family as well.
Yeah.
You know, and that's bigger than boxing.
Oh, always family bigger than boxing. Keyshawn too, he's with your team. He's a good dude. I met him as well that same night. Great fighter. He's really shown that he's one of the main guys, and it was the title, but one of the main guys, 135.
Sure. Keyshawn is very talented.
Yep.
And, you know, he's going to be, you know, another one that's going to be here for a long time.
Yep.
He's going to be, you know, one or two best pound for pound fighters right along with Shakur.
Yeah, they both got to probably be one and two either way.
You know, they both want to, you know, a great upping.
Yep.
In their career.
Yep.
And they both young, so they don't have nothing but time to get better. And,
yep.
You know, keep rising to the top.
Yep. That division's hot. I really like Abdullah Mason too.
Yeah.
He's like,
it's a lot of opportunities down there.
135, man. That's hot. And look, we know the money man of the division, and Tank. You know, he's been obviously, you know, one of the best fighters, and obviously, I think he got a lot of attention when he was with Floyd. I think he sort of got a bit of a leg up there, but the guy was knocking out. Everyone loves knockouts. Mike Tyson was a freak, like a little Tyson. But obviously, we spoke about it. You do believe that Keyshawn or Shakur, if they face Tank, if he beats Roach, which I think he will, you believe both guys have a good opportunity to beat Tank?
Definitely.
Yep.
They just got to get the opportunity.
Yeah. Different styles. I mean, Shakur and Keyshawn, they're probably different fights with Tank overall, but You think they both will definitely, yep. I hope either of the guys, Shakur or Keyshawn, do get the tank fight. Because it's like you getting the Spence fight or the Canelo, they deserve that big fight. It's a big fight where people the whole world watches.
Yeah,
you
sure.
know. Also too, like I like to play a little game, like I always look at the goats of the history of the boxing. I mean, at 135, which you was, there's a few guys that have been Roberto Duran. You and Roberto, how do you shape up?
I don't know, man. That would have been tough.
Would have been tough, yeah. Because we're not here to disrespect any champion, but they would have been tough on.
Yeah, that would have
been a tough one, Roberto.
I think all of them would have been tough.
What about
135?
What about Sweet Pea Whitaker, our man?
They all would have been tough.
Yeah.
I don't think 135 was my best weight.
Yeah, so I'm just going to start. Yep.
I was struggling.
All right, let's go to 140.
140 was
Aaron Pryor. You think you probably handle Aaron? Aaron Pryor. Yep.
I felt out of it.
Yep. Aaron Pryor. What about my dear friend Costa Zoo?
I felt like, all those weights.
Yep.
That would have been tough, but I just believe in myself. I'd find a way to win.
Yeah.
I'd have found a way to win.
Pretty Boy Floyd or Money May? Who gives you the toughest one?
Money May.
At 147?
Yeah.
You reckon that's the tougher fight? Anyway, yeah. Tough night.
I think Pretty Boy give you more opportunities.
Yeah, because he's
being
aggressive.
He's aggressive and he bang with you, but Money May, he ain't giving you nothing. Anything you get, you're gonna have to work for it.
You gotta earn it.
It's a different type of fighter.
And then last but not least, 147, Ray Leonard and Hitman Hearns, two of the goats.
Like I said, I'd have found a way to win. It'd have been tough. But I just believe in myself, and I would have found a way.
What a year that was, though. Everyone talks about that. Leonard, Hearns, Hagler, and Ray Leonard.
It was definitely the ages for boxing.
Yeah. Before we finish, bud, you're a family man. You got 7 kids, beautiful kids. I know one's a machine. She's an amazing sprinter. And that's Lele.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lele, and then you got the boys, the 3 wrestlers. They're just little weapons. You're the 2 younger ones.
Yeah.
Got little bulldogs. What's their name?
Lil T and Tyrese.
Yeah.
I mean Takari and Tyrese.
Yeah.
Takari and Tyrese.
Yeah.
I'm tripping.
And then the 14-year-old is the other one, 14-year-old.
My 14-year-old Lil T.
Yeah, Lil T. Yeah.
Lil T, Takari and Tyrese.
And there's some bad little dudes, man, doing their wrestling.
And then Zaire, that's my 1-year-old.
Yeah.
And Trinity,
Oh, you got a 1-year-old?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, wow. Trinity, she's 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lele's 10. Then Tamia, she's 7 too.
Yeah, she got the car recently. Yeah. Yeah, I love how you're a family man, bud. I love how family's first. Like you said, before boxing, training camps, you'll go home for birthdays still. I really want this whole tour. I want Australia to see the Bud Crawford I know.
Mm.
Not the boxer, not the celebrity, just a good, humble guy that, is a real dude, as a real person, and without all the hype and the fame, he's just one of the guys, Yeah. You come to Australia, I've managed to, to get you out here, but you've come on your own, which no fighter would do. I mean, Floyd would have 30, 40 people with him, you know what I mean? And that's him, but that's not you.
Yeah.
Like we said about you were talking with the interview recently with Shannon Sharp about the cars, and he was saying Lambos and Ferraris, and you're saying, man, I got my truck.
Yeah, we get to the destination at the same time.
Yeah,
no matter, as long as I got a reliable vehicle. Yeah, I'm good.
And what's your last word? What's your advice for any children out there that want to do something with their lives or might be struggling? Whether it's mental issues, or they might be overweight and feel not good in themselves, or ones that have been bullied, or the ones that just need a little bit extra helping hand. Well, what's your advice to those kids?
I just tell them don't give up.
Yeah.
Listen to your mentors.
Yep.
listen to the people that have your best interests at heart, and just stay consistent and dedicated to your craft,
Yeah.
and work hard, stay in school, learn all you can learn, and be the best that you can be.
On that note, Terence Bud Crawford, the soon-to-be three-time undisputed in your
Yeah.
and five-time world champion in 5 divisions. Bud, thanks for being on Ringside Seat with Tassie, my brother, and yeah,
Thanks, bro.
thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
God bless, my friend.